Hello, everyone. I think we are ready to start, slowly transition into the event itself. Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, friends, colleagues, and the viewers online as well. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to our annual analytical overview of the media industry in Baltics, Baltic Media Health Check. And as you can see, we have quite an ambitious title this year. And I think that within the nearest hour, the superpowers of the local media will be revealed, and they will be revealed particularly by our chief editor, Aija Krūtaine and Anastasija Teterenko-Supe. But before we transition to that, I will have a couple of minutes to introduce you actually for the agenda for the whole day today, because this is a special day, not only in the context of the given report, but also of the amount of events we are hosting, like I told. We will start with the report presentation and afterwards transition to the movie screening called The Correspondent. The movie depicts famous Latvian Australian journalist Peter Greste, and particularly his time in prison in Egypt and his arrest in Cairo. And we are fortunate enough to have Peter be present within the movie screening and answer your questions afterwards. So maybe you should choose to stick around. We will start at 4 p.m. And then lastly, at 7 p.m., we will have the Baltic Freedom of Speech Award ceremony, where we will recognize individuals and organizations for their contributions to defending and promoting freedom of speech in the Baltic states, as well as a special award for the exile community. Now, getting back to the point, today we gather to examine and reflect on the state of the local media in our Baltic region, strengths, opportunities, challenges. We would like to think that this report is a vital tool in fostering transparency and accountability. After the presentation, a discussion will follow between Latvian and Lithuanian media representatives, particularly on the importance of the online video. Before we continue with the event itself, I would like to extend our gratitude to the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands for the support of the event. On such note, I would like to invite Dutch Ambassador Karl Persman to make his statement, and later on we can transition to Aija and Anastasia moderating the event. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction. I hope I'm audible. I won't take Fidel Castro time speech to introduce this all. Yet it is important for me to be here, as this is not just another tick in the box that we do as embassy in all the activities we have here in Latvia. It is also a way to demonstrate that we have shared values and, frankly, shared strategic interest. Because here on the eastern flank of the EU and NATO, free and healthy press isn't a luxury, it is a strategic necessity. It is our first line of defense of our democratic world. This health check is a vital diagnostic moving beyond platitudes into the hard realities of the media business, of which you know far more than I do, but I see it from the outside. This year the focus is on superpowers of the Baltic media, local outlets that stay adaptable despite challenges and tight budgets. But every hero, whether it's Superman or The Incredibles or Captain America, they all have their special kind of kryptonite. And the report highlights it as a journalist burnout, a newsroom drained by heavy workloads and scarce resources cannot hold power to account. And exhausted journalists are a victory for those who wish to silence them. Luckily, there is data showing that most of the biggest outlets operate now with profit. And that's important, because sustainable media outlets are independent media outlets. And such outlets can invest in their people and protect journalists from burnout. We therefore hope that there will be some more good news to take away from the report. We are finally, I conclude, proud to partner with the Anna-Maria and Gustav Anders Center for Media Studies. And I thank you for revealing both the superpowers and the kryptonite. Paldies.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
First of all, my name is Aya. This is Anastasia. We're the two editors of the majority of this report. I want to say a really, really big thank you to all of those you who have ventured to this event live. But I'm also saying hello to all the viewers who are watching it online, live. And so, yes, Baltic Media Health Check is something that we're very proud of, and we work hard to make it happen. And as every year, today we will start with a summary of changes in finances and audiences, like what have taken place. The last report actually was published nearly 2 years ago. So the data covered this year, right now, is 2004, and then before that it was 2022. Then we will also touch upon trends and highlights in each country, as well as the future outlook. And to start with, so I don't know, maybe some of you don't know, but the very, very basis of the Baltic Media Health Check is this quantitative data. So we gather from Kantar and from Gemius. We gather the top 5 most popular TV stations, radio stations, newspapers, magazines, and online news sites in each of the Baltic countries. And then we go back and look who are their owners and basically how have they fared. And this year, well, in 2024, the 75 most popular media outlets are owned by 39 companies, of which 26 had the revenues grow and 27 made a profit. That's like a steady 2/3 of media companies who are in a healthy state of financial performance. And 22 improved their bottom line, meaning that they either increased their profit or they turned from losses to profit. Here we can, also in the report, we mainly touch upon commercial media, not exactly the public media, because the commercial media are the ones which compete for the audiences with their readers, and it's very important for them to basically get the viewers, listeners, and everything, because that is what determines their livelihood. And here we can see that the largest commercial media companies across the Baltics in 2024 by revenues were Estonia's Delfi Media, then TV3 Group's owner All Media Lithuania in Lithuania, All Media Latvia, Postumes Group in Estonia, and also Laisvas ir nepriklausomas kanalas, which is also a TV group in Lithuania. And when we look at the profitability, then an absolute winner is All Media Lithuania. Like, it has managed to increase, I think by more than 50% its profit, like last year. And All Media Lithuania has been the most profitable Baltic commercial media company since 2018. So they have basically, their profits are larger than everybody else in the market. What I wanted also to mention is that the public broadcasters, I mean, they are not here, but they are huge. And the Lithuania's public broadcasters' budget in 2024 was 72 million euros, right? Estonia was 49 million euros, and Latvia was approximately 47 million euros. So that's simply, it gives the idea that commercial media has a lot to stand up for in the media market. Then also we always look at these audiences, and here for the summary, I wouldn't say that this is not a new trend that we have been observing, but basically that the majority of these outlets, so it's like it's from all the countries and everything, simply ranked, that majority of the most popular outlets see their audiences decline. The TV and radio is in the best position. I mean, they are somewhat, let's say, half-half. Like half of the most popular media outlets manage to increase their listeners or viewers, and some maybe not that much. Newspapers and magazines, I would say, is nothing new. The big surprise in this year's report was actually online, because like in the previous reports, online was always the category where out of those 15 media outlets across all three Baltic countries, you could see that the majority has their average monthly real users increase. But in 2024, it was actually only 4 outlets that saw larger audiences than before.
So, despite people saying that they don't have TV sets in their homes, TV is still very, very popular. The biggest change is strengthening of multi-screen approach among audiences with TV content in their pockets and on the go. Public broadcaster is leading here in Latvia and in Estonia, but TV3 is stopping in Lithuania. As I previously said that the online media might have reached its audience ceilings. So we have seen that online news audiences declined for 11 outlets in 2024. Of course, social media and artificial intelligence changes media consumption habits, so media companies have to adapt to these growing changes. And as we can see in this table, Delphi remains a leader across all 3 Baltic countries. Radio remains stable across all Baltic countries, as well as with TV ratings. Public broadcasters leads in Latvia and Lithuania, but while Lithuania's M1 and Lietus leads commercially here.
Mm-hmm. To continue about the newspapers, so here as well, like the top line, the ones which are most popular, they remain the same as in the previous reports. Lietuvos Rytas in Lithuania, MK Latvia in Latvia and Estonia, it's Postimes. But one thing which has become more evident now across also like looking back at the previous years and so on is that the newspapers have kind of fought this decline in audience by reducing their print frequency. And what we see now is that actually of these 15 titles, only 5 of them print more than once a week. 10 of these newspapers are actually more like even like weekly magazines rather than actually newspapers. And then if we go to the magazines, then the only magazine here who saw its audience increase, by audience understanding this like average readers of one press edition, was Estonian Makadu, which is about gardening and some tips. And but also what we see is that some of the titles have their spin-offs. They remain very strong in all markets. And yes, like going further, perhaps more niche magazines in the future. Oh, why Superpowers? Okay. And yes, so sorry, I was already next to the next slide, but this year it took me a while to decide like what to put on the cover of the Baltic Media Health Check, because it's like the situation, like when we look at the finances, like it's relatively good actually. When we look at the audiences, then I would say it's like nothing new. We all know that, we work there and we try to kind of improve it. But then some of the conversations that I've had lately, and also like I interviewed for this report, like the Guardian's head of innovation, Chris Moran, and he mentioned this idea that media industry is one of the most disrupted industries within the last decades and so on. But so many of us are still not only surviving, but we are thriving. And in that sense, I think that with the media, it's so that like also, as most of you know, like we like to stress crises, challenges, all the things that can go wrong and so on. And I think that maybe we don't give ourselves enough credit for the things that we do. And that is like adapting to change, that is operating on tight budgets and maintaining audience loyalty. And what we also can see from the report, then some of the media companies, media groups in the Baltics are really superpowers. Like they work across several segments, like let's say like Postumes Group, like they have online, they have newspaper, they have TV stations, or like Delphi Group owning online, and then of course in Lithuania now, one big interesting thing will be also how M1, no, not food, sorry, not M1, but how 15 Minutes Group will develop, because they've acquired quite a lot of resources, buying new radio stations and so on. So yeah, so that's why we're talking about superpowers in this report.
And now we will look at trends and highlights in each country. While we were writing our reports on Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, we see that there are major trends in three countries. And in Lithuania, we saw that revenue diversification is a major strategy. Lithuanian media companies are expanding income sources through subscriptions, events, conferences, and new platforms to offset declining ad revenues from global tech giants. Also, consolidation and acquisitions are reshaping the market, and cross-platform expansion is becoming a new reality, actually. Traditional broadcasters are building integrated ecosystems, including streaming services, websites, and also radio. Audience engagement and authenticity are gaining importance, with media outlets focusing on building personal connections between journalists and their audience. Artificial intelligence and the global platforms, of course, pose both challenges and opportunities. They divert attention and advertisement revenue, but also drive demand for trustworthy and high-quality local journalism. In Latvia, it was very interesting to see that paywalls have become a standard. Leading outlets are aggressively expanding paid content, marking a full transition from free content to subscription-based journalism. Digital transformation and diversification is also seen in Latvia as well as other countries. Media companies are investing in video, e-commerce, events, and niche products to balance shrinking audiences and decline in ad revenues. Outlets also increasingly cooperate not only across platforms, but also even between companies, experimenting with bundle subscriptions and shared advertising packages to stay competitive in the business. With audiences shrinking, outlets focus on deeper engagement, specialized paid communities, and premium print or digital products to sustain loyal readership. But in Estonia, companies try to they diversificate their revenue streams beyond journalism. Media groups are expanding into events, conferences, trainings, and ticketing businesses to generate new revenue streams. Streaming and targeted advertising has become an impressive revenue unit with localized contents and innovations like addressable TV advertising. Also, outlets use artificial intelligence for both internal efficiency and audience tools, including automated news bulletins and searchable archives, which is very interesting new thing that media is using now. And also, local content becomes a competitive edge. Estonian audiences increasingly favor locally produced journalism and entertainment, driving growth and reinforcing national media loyalty and identity.
Okay. So I will touch upon a little bit about digital subscriptions, not only because it's something that I do in my day job, but it's something that I also strongly believe and I have followed a lot since basically the paywalls were introduced here across the Baltics and so on. And like every year, we do like these small case studies where we ask media outlets name how much of digital subscribers they have at that particular moment. And here I put together, which is basically current market with an asterisk, because of course it's not completely all. It's the ones that are the major ones who are competing, basically the market leaders. And for example, in Estonia, The number doesn't include Postimees Group because since 2021 they don't disclose the subscriber numbers, and back then they had something like 37,000 digital subscribers. So most likely the Estonia's number is actually much higher. But in any case, what we can see from this graph is that like the strongest growth has happened within the last 2-3 years in Lithuania, where pretty much in 2024 compared to 2022, no, sorry, this date is actually like the October 25, but basically within the last 2 years, the total digital subscriptions have doubled. I mean, in Latvia, the growth is also impressive, like it's 60%. In Estonia, it's slower, but again, as I'm saying, it has to be noted that there's no Postimees numbers. Perhaps it is a little bit more. And then I also had just quickly had a look at like how these digital subscriptions versus the total population of the Baltic countries. And so there we can see that in Estonia, this digital subscription, let's call it penetration to the whole population is 12%. In Latvia, it's 3%, and in Lithuania, it's 5%. Like, if we consider that the Baltic countries are part of Nordic countries, and there the digital subscription penetration is something like 30-40%, then there's definitely still a room to grow, which I think should make all media very happy. One thing which is not in this slide but is in the report, the absolute leader, of course, is if we talk not simply about digital subscriptions but overall subscriptions, is like Go3, because they have more than 600,000 subscribers across all 3 countries.
So in our report, we also paid attention not only to numbers and companies, we looked at trends and happenings that shape the industry now. And what we have seen that a lot of companies have chosen to use videos as their product. And so we have seen that a pivot to video content, which we can maybe describe as a possible gold mine for online news media now. Also, one worrying trend is that there is a growing number of newsroom workers who are experienced burnout. So one of our articles is focusing its attention on this growing problem and possible solutions to this issue. And also, we have paid attention to Latvian children's press because not only adults are reading newspapers and other press materials, so we have noticed that Latvian children's press is struggling to compete with foreign titles and toy giveaways. So maybe, so I really hope that this issue of Baltic Media Health Check is not an obituary to all the children's press industry in Latvia. And now we will look at the future outlook, and we will talk about challenges and opportunities. But before the opportunities, I will talk about the challenges a bit. We can see that in the nearest future, advertising revenue lost to global platforms like Google and Meta will continue to weaken local media finances. Subscription growth will slow down because Baltic markets will mature and audiences reach their paying limits at some time. Also, production costs will rise and outpace revenue in small national markets. Audiences will become even more fragmented, and it's important to pay attention to aging audiences. Dependence on global algorithms will still reduce visibility and control over the content distribution, and artificial intelligence bring, of course, both not only opportunities of efficiency in the workplace, but also risks to trustworthiness and authenticity of content. Diversification pressure means that media must expand into events, streaming, and niche to survive, because only content is not producing only content is not enough for businesses to sustain themselves. And uneven competition and weak regulation will also leave local outlets disadvantaged against public and local players.
So talking about the opportunities, of course, there's still big opportunity in growing digital subscriptions, and I think that pretty much all largest media companies in the Baltics are really investing in that. Then we also see this expansion of streaming and video platforms. And as we will talk later in the discussion, but basically video does seem to be the new goldmine for online media, and like everybody is jumping on this trend. Also, we see that there are some localized advertising innovations. Let's say TV3 Group seems to be quite happy with this addressable TV, which they have introduced, which kind of lets them target advertising on their Go3 streaming platform. Then we also, what we can see, I would say, like at the moment small, but it could grow much into bigger revenue stream as well, is these niche and premium content models. Like, let's say, Anastasia was talking with Latvia's Medi, who apparently they have this magazine which is specializing on hunting, and they are doing a paid YouTube channel and getting some money there. So that's kind of like using your user base, what you already have, but then kind of giving them something extra. Cross-platform collaboration, that's a huge topic at the moment in Latvia, where we see that, I mean, the lines between media have blurred. I mean, online news media have TV studios, and they do TV shows, and they do podcasts, and like radio ventures into TV. And then, of course, TV also have their online news sites and so on. So you really get... like it's less and less that we can say that like this is a TV company or something else. It might have the largest part of revenue coming from that, right? But they are thinking a lot about this, how to collaborate and how to distribute their content more. Yes, as Anastasia already mentioned, events, e-commerce, brand extensions, like a huge thing. Maybe not for example, the events and e-commerce, maybe not so much in Latvia at the moment, but definitely strong in Lithuania and also in Estonia. And yes, strengthen public trust, which is like the general trend that we see globally at the moment is that it's not enough for the media companies and media outlets to put the content out there. They need to show who the authors are, like who are the creators, like why they choose to write about the things they write, how they do their investigations and so on, so that the public would in general trust them more. And yes, and that's thank you from us. We're open to a few questions, and then we will, what?
No, nothing.
Any questions?
Maybe not.
If not, then I guess we can like set up for the discussion.
I have a quick question. You mentioned that in Lithuania and Estonia, there are companies who are doing e-commerce and brand extensions. So could you talk about some practical examples, what it is exactly that they're doing and Latvia isn't doing?
No, it's simply, for example, the same conference. Like if we talk about conferences, let's say Aripaev is Estonia's largest business news daily. They are quite huge. Their turnover is approximately 20 million euros. Part of it comes from the journalism as such, but then I will not name numbers because I don't know them by hand, but basically quite a big revenue stream that they have is like events, like conferences. I mean, back in the day, like Dienas Business also used to have like in Latvia some conferences, right? Like annually on different kind of topics and so on. But they are very strong there. They also have a training business. Like, let's say I think if you want to learn something IT or something, like you can buy their online course. I mean, in In Lithuania as well, like Delphi has a strong conference business, and it recently acquired a company who does the HR Week and the EBIT, like this management conference, which are huge events and they take place in all three countries. So there are definitely some opportunities, yeah, to look for.
And also, when we look at the newspapers and magazine sectors, we see that the CEOs of the companies say that, oh, well, we are now choosing to sell our subscriptions by ourselves, not using the services of Latvian postal services. So in that mean, they are also operating as an e-commerce company.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Yes.
Thank you for very interesting insights, and maybe in your detailed report as well. What's behind this quite significant increase in Lithuanian media subscription volumes? It was in last year or last 2 years, comparing with Latvia and Estonia?
Yes. We can actually ask
that
Rasa as the head of Lithuania's Delphi. It's, I actually don't know. I think it's most likely related to the market size and the fact that really strong push to sell these digital subscriptions.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm from Delphi, Lithuania, editor-in-chief, and I'm just looking to numbers because those are new for me also. I know only our numbers. And in general, yeah, it's a market size, is a push from the market to gain subscribers. It's quite intensive tactic to gain subscribers. In general, that was a big change in our minds. I think we moved to subscribers-based editorial. That means that we put our best pieces under paywall, and we see that our competitors are doing the same. I think that was like a good moment to grow for all our market.
The interesting thing, though, is that, for example, like Lithuania, actually, in Latvia, the paywall was first the paywall was put here in Latvia, like with Delphi and TVNet, and Lithuania followed afterwards, like in 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
19. Right? That was 19. The
end of
19.
End of 19, yeah. But simply, yeah, the market.
But we had a strategy, and we are working on it. And also, I think we think that it's still very difficult to grow because we have a lot of different news portals in Lithuania. We have 5 big news portals. 2 of them are still without subscription. Our national broadcaster news portal, which is the 3rd, and TV3, All Media Baltics. They don't have subscriptions, and others 3 have. That means us, then 15 minutes, and Lietuvos rytas. I also see that our verslo žinios, like Aripaev in Estonia, they have also significant number of subscribers. But yeah, Delphi Lithuania is the biggest one. Then 15, like according to readership, actually.
Thanks. Yeah? Okay. Then let's set up the chairs for... Oi, not. Thanks. I will give straight away the microphones to each and one of you, so that you have. Yes. Okay, and then we'll move forward to the discussion. I wanted this panel and these people here because of the video, because really what we have been seeing is already also mentioned in the presentation of the report, but the video is really growing. And with Lithuania's Delphi is the thing that your Delphi TV manager, he also talked with our journalist in the report, and he says that it's strongest growing market, like the market segment for the advertising where everything is happening. Helio Media, on the other hand, has he's a relatively, I would call it a relatively new entrant, right? But you've managed to grow over the recent, like what, 5 to 8 years to like 14
years.
10 years. But basically, you are now the second largest commercial media in Latvia. And then Linda Saulīte, as head of the Denso Media Agency, can also, I think, important to talk about, like, from the other side, from that advertising and client side, to which we actually all want to sell something, right? Yeah. So to open the discussion, Linda, I actually wanted to ask you, what are some of the key trends that you see happening now in Latvia, in the Baltic media, and how good or bad is the local media to meet these audiences?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your insightful data. Before I will start with my insights, I want to say big appreciation to local media across all Baltics, all owners and managers and journalists, because it's so tough, but never ever give up. We love you from advertising and agency side and from readers side. But of course, what we see. Actually, by our data, latest data, we are doing extensive research by our agency as well, every 2 years, like with sample size 3,000 respondents. It's huge. So we see that actually in all Baltics, but I can definitely say in Latvia, our time with media increases. It's approximately 12 hours per day. So, of course, it's a multi-screen, watching, reading, but it's increasing. Of course, the proportion of time we spend increasing, particularly in digital. And what we see as well, it's we allow our audiences, allow local media. It's not that we are seeing that this proportion decreases. What we see, one trend definitely in last year, the younger is demographic, the more those audiences use content not in Latvian, Estonian or Lithuanian, so in English and global media, not particularly social ones, but in English medium. So it's a challenge, I think, for local media, for future audiences. And so we spend a lot of time in media, but we see a huge fragmentation. If some years ago, from advertising and clients' perspective, we had like I don't know how many possibilities to buy advertising in media, like TV, commercial, sponsorship. Now it's like 5 times more different kind of formats, screens, content possibilities. So it's quite fragmented and oversaturated. So I would say the attention of audience becomes a key currency currently in media from advertising and client side. And just to say and confirm, yes, huge increase in video content consumption, and people watch TV content, like local content a lot, but they watch the content on different kind of platforms. It's increasing so-called video on demand, like all platforms, Helio, TV3, Go3, of course Netflix and other platforms, but it's increasing usage of video content. And as you mentioned, yes, local media is following this, not following actually, I would say fully in line with this trend. The question, of course, is how local media can monetize the contents they produce and distribute across the platforms. And especially if you talk about younger audiences, I believe my colleagues will agree, they watch and read this local produced media, but very often on global platforms, right? And not coming to your own website. The question is how we can monetize this. And of course, agencies do their job, but maybe we have to do it better. But then it's a question about data and measurement and so on. But yeah, we use a lot of media and a lot of content, including local one. The question is our attention span and this oversaturated content market that we have.
Thank you. Rasa, how is it in Lithuania? Like, do you also see, like, is the attention, basically the time that people spend on media outlets, is it growing or?
No, it's not growing. We are making a big effort to get more and more attention. In general, like we all understand that we are fighting for audience attention. And that's a question, what measures do we take to get this attention? And of course, video or podcast or in general, all multimedia formats are the key answer to my mind. Or those trending formats are the key answer. You have to have them. You have to put them in the right place. I mean, you have to put not only in your platform, but also in those international platforms. You have to follow your possible audience. You have to try to be interesting for them. And yes, all media in the Baltics, or I think all around the world, we are used to compete among ourselves, like we are competing with our neighbors or colleagues from the same country. But I think that we have to understand that we have to compete not with each other, but with global platforms and global companies, because as it was told already, but we see that, for example, younger audience just they don't think where to get information or where to get videos. They just open the platform they are used to and they listen or watch or read. Of course, usually they watch information and they even do not think which language it is, or it's English or Lithuanian. For Lithuanians, for example, for them there is no difference actually. It's a global generation. And for example, my daughter knows everything what is happening in the United States from the platform, and just they are used to it. That's a big question for media in general. What to do and how to get that generation attention. We used to think in the media that people get matured for news when they get like first mortgage, children, and etc. But I'm not so sure that with this generation will be the same. I think that we have to think different approaches to how to get this generation attention. And of course, we are doing steps. For example, we have a podcast for like younger generation, and we try to attract this generation in YouTube and in TikTok. But you have to work hard almost for every listener, reader, or possible watcher.
Thank you. Kaspars, how is it in TV? I mean, in your market, it's not only like you don't have the locals, but the big, Netflix and like Amazon Prime, all the other platforms. What do you see?
Yes, we have seen last 2 years that big screen viewing time is quite stable. Only issues that people move to video on demand as a time shifting from linear TV to video on demand. And that's, of course, challenge for commercial TVs to keep sales inventory from advertising perspective. But in the same time, if you get more difficult situation, you always think how to get monetization. And so we found out that our way is really local video. We decided some 7 years ago that local video and strong characters will be, local strong characters will be those who will drive our presence both in TV and online. And we started very simple. We started to cut all this long form to short form. And that way we managed with video portal to become quite one of the leading local video portals. But that's, simple way, entertainment. But when it comes to news, where we entered 2 years ago, we really see that what was mentioned, the competition with global platforms which supply news really is for us challenge. So therefore, I believe that in a way, we very much depend as local media how good characters we will find, whether it's strong journalist or strong performer in reality TV or in a TV show. I think why we are needed in this world, it's strong characters, local strong characters.
So it's not like a show or something, but really about characters,
Yeah,
people, like journalism as well, right? Now journalists basically asking, telling the news instead of...
Today's truth is that people do not trust brand, they trust people in general. And journalism is already about people, like faces, personalities, not like general media brands.
Okay. You all mentioned a little bit about the monetization, and I wanted to ask you about, so we have these global platforms, and yes, we all compete for this attention. We put out these short videos and so on, but on like Google, YouTube, or wherever. So how do you monetize them?
It's a question to media as well, right?
Yes.
But of course, our task from agency side is to educate our clients about possibilities, talk and cooperate with media, and offer and explain this advantage of local media, this bundle offers, if I can say, this contextual relevance, the trust that comes with local content and characters and personalities. So it's a question of, it's about creating this, how to say this, I'm not saying that it's educational, but exploring possibilities and creating them together. And it's challenging, of course. And but the question also is about measurement, how we measure those advertising effectiveness, integrations, and so. So it's like work to do, but I think one more challenge, if I can mention here, when we position and talk about local media advantages and uniqueness, like local content, context, relevance, and trust and personalities, there's one more challenge, but not only last year's, but it's also about proportion of brand campaigns from advertising and performance campaigns. And it's also, it's choice of media, and it's behind decisions. Are we putting advertising in local media that delivers this brand awareness, brand trust, and all other things, of course? Or client needs more and more performance and sales campaigns. This can be cheaper and more, maybe, I'm not saying, but maybe cheaper and faster to reach on global platforms. So it's a question also on this other side of advertising plans and strategies. That's, I can say it's sometimes it's proportionally on performance and sales side. I'm not saying
the clients are kind of choosing more, let's say, put out more advertising on Google, YouTube, wherever, with the idea that it will bring him more the revenue, more performance.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's case in every other case, but there is a trend that we all have all e-com plans or everything, and then its strategy can be more favorable to global ones. But I'm just saying that there's a discussion and questions. It's on our side and clients and on media side as well. It's a question of monetizing,
Your first question was about first super challenge. Another is about second super challenge or second headache of the media companies.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to have superpowers just to be a little bit funny in this tough discussion. But yeah, I think that the answer was there also diversification. Mm-hmm. It's not easy to monetize everything, and in general, we have to understand that journalism itself, it's public service, it's for public interest. And here somehow we have to understand that we have to support it. And I think that we don't have like proper model societies how to support journalism as a public treasure. But media companies are searching for solutions, and as it was mentioned, subscriptions, different models of revenue diversification, conferences, ad in video, like companies are searching for all possible ways. The same when we are trying to attract our audiences, the same to attract revenues.
Okay. Kaspars, you also mentioned about that it's not so easy to monetize, as I understand.
Yeah, sure. And I believe on top of diversification, I think consolidation is ahead in the markets. I think biggers will stay healthy, but smallers will start to become thinner in the profits or whatever, what is measurements. So yeah, I think the consolidation of market is ahead, and that's most maybe could start with some sales houses, cutting costs of some administrative things, just because if you can't cut on content, because then you lose your game against a global player. You need to cut your top management costs and so on, and that's easiest is, of course, if consolidation happens. So. And then, of course, also from market size, because if you compare Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, at least from my experience the last 25 years in media, Lithuania has been always self-sufficient to have 2-3 profitable media groups in each segment. In Estonia, I remember maybe that was one group in each segment was profitable, and second was below or underwater. And in Latvia now, due to this, let's say, society, two parts of society, Russian audience moving away to some piracy and global medias and not reachable for advertising anymore so well. Latvia, I think, is now in Estonia case that in Latvia they can survive just one big commercial media group in long term.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the consolidation and also the sales house. That's something like a trend which is now, I would say, starting in Latvia, right? But let's say
on television, sales house has been already for whatever 10 years. But I think there could be also cross-media sales houses happening soon if there will be need of high pressure on the cost side, and if the market will start to stagnate. If you want to develop content, you can't anymore go with that fixed cost which you have for rest of media costs.
How is it from the media agency side? I mean, this sales houses, consolidation, and so on. Like it's kind of fragment. You mentioned that it's already like the market is getting more fragmented, but then does something like this help to improve the situation, or I
think definitely, yeah. From my agency's side, yes. How it will be, let's see. Some consolidation started just now, but I think yes, it's helping from agency side and from planning side. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wanted to touch up a little bit with Kaspars and Rasa, like how, for example, this change in usage habits and so on has changed the way you approach content creation. Like you, for example, mentioned a lot more shorter formats, shorter videos. Anything else that works?
Yeah, of course. I sometimes joke that my second name should be an experiment. Because like we are permanently experimenting in different ways. And yeah, we are like, we do a lot of different things. For example, we concentrate on, we compete as a media in different fields. First one is breaking news. That means that we have to be the first to publish breaking news. That's clear, and like in appropriate way, yeah, like with first the text, then video, photo, and all updates. That's clear. Second thing where we compete with our competitors in general, it's unique content. And when it comes to unique content, it has to be also not only text, but video or following story, long video, then cut short video, reels, video for YouTube, video for TikTok, video for...
But you do, for each of the platform, you do its own
like
video.
In ideal situation, yes, but in general, our willingness is to have different formats for different platform. And to reuse our unique content as much as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah. We try to be for each platform with different approach. Of course, our backbone is our television shows, and which we try to cut them in shorter pieces. And it has been rather successful in past that you make short one teaser and put in Facebook, and then you get pulled in our video platform where people watch long form of this show. But lately what we see is that audience changes, the really attention span is not anymore sufficient for long form, even how good you tease in. We really, our inventory in general, what if we want to monetize, it's how long form will be watched. Or long form, or we have inventory. Lately we see that it was some proportion, always, let's say 1 to 2, or let's say 2 shorts drives 1 long form. Now it's 1 to 6. So I think we are ahead of quite big challenge how not in teaser give away all the unique info of long form, but still have good teaser. And that's for our mindset of our editors, it's very challenging now. We really see that there should be somewhat of a training education done, how do not tell too much, but still to make attractive to tease in.
But for example, the length of those short videos, like how much do you find is the best? Or it really depends on the length, let's say it's 15 seconds or it's 30 or...
For us to still show some pre-roll for whatever 20 seconds, we need 3 minutes to go. Yeah, for sure, for younger audience, we put on TikTok something, but there we can't monetize. We just build a brand.
Okay. And one question more. Kaspars, do you see that there's a difference of what people watch on the linear TV and what they consume online?
I would say I have quite good overview on what people watch on video on demand and what watch on our television stations, because we share with one of the biggest telco, Tech Plus, we share our content. And they have 2 platforms. One is so-called very much OTT or video on demand. Another one is IPTV, which is old or modern cable network. And audience on linear TV really is a more watching, let's say, just catch up watching so-called old in archive or what watching rather little. But when it comes to new generation or what is this so-called modern TV like Go3, like Tech Plus, you see that their priority is going for video on demand, and then maybe some habits on linear TV remains news, different such things, which is really like daily tea. But when it comes to entertainment, that moves to video on demand. While on older demographics, they still watch a lot of let's say, age 50 plus linear TV.
Okay, thank you. Another question which I wanted to ask was about the balance between soft and hard content. I mean, all the reports like Reuters, digital news report and so on, it talks a lot about news fatigue and so on. Rasa, for example, you come from an industry where like more hard news and then the soft is there, of course, but how do you balance it? Like,
yeah, being the biggest and the most read news portal in Lithuania, it's very like everyday's issue to balance content, because yes, we have big breaking news departments and hard news departments, but also we have leisure department, and we compete in leisure news also, having in mind that all social media platforms, they like social soft content, so-called like travel, leisure, people, and other. That's why, in general, yes, we are like, our loyal reader consider us, and we are the hard news portal. That means that when you come to Delphi directly, you always see like first 5 news is like hard news. It means world, Lithuania news, politics, business, and sports can be also. But then after that, 6, 7, and like other news can be leisure, travel, people, and other. We always balance, and also it depends when you open the news portal. For example, when you open in the morning, you can find more hard news than in the evening. And I think that it's quite logical, because media has to fit in people's daily routine also. When you are tired after work or it's a weekend, topics should be different. A little bit from the Monday morning. It's for sure. But there is an issue, because people are reading news portals or are consuming news via different platforms, as it was told many times today. And for example, those who are using us from social media, like for example, Facebook, as it is an algorithm, they consider us, for example, like a super soft news portal, because they are getting only soft news about like Prince Charles or Meghan Markle or others. And people ask me sometimes, why you are writing so many articles about Meghan Markle? And of course, we are not writing like specifically a lot of articles about Meghan Markle, but just because they saw one, algorithm puts another one like after 2 weeks or something. And we are the top of mind of the market, and they can put other media outlet content, and sometimes people think that's the same Delphi also. Like it's one part of our image, what kind of media we are. And for example, those who are coming daily, frequently, many times per day, for example, to Delphi, they quite often ask, why are you so hard news portal? Why you are writing all the time about the war and other things? And it's always a question, and I think the future is to find the proper way to get personalized news or something. But like editor's choice should be the first choice in media.
Okay, Kaspars, but you did the other way around, right? You started with the entertainment and then went to news. So why did you decide to start news, and has this decision paid off?
Yeah, we really understood that we need in television and also on our online portal to really get such viewers which are wanting a bit more than just entertainment. As we wanted to increase reach and give better return for advertisers. And we tried, and we have trying the second year. It's not easy, I would say, because when we were employing team, we were saying, let's go for multimedia news team. At the end of the day, after 1 year, you understand you're again just TV news team. So the mindset of journalists and in general of all the team, it's a big challenge, I would say, in the future, how to change the mindset that what is multimedia approach of one news story in the morning from a happening, making shortcut and giving something to article in the news in the portal, and first goes for social, second for portal, and for getting ready for late news. But so far we are searching for such journalists. And that's a big challenge, how to change the mindset from one media writing, how the, let's say, journalist should start to live the way how he lives, with a small screen, and in the evening with a big screen. But in real life, professionally, they still live in one screen.
Linda, do you see any preference from client side? Like, is it soft or hard, or does it really? It depends on basically the targets and
I would
what the
say it depends. Yeah, and from client side, of course, they see media as a whole, and it depends. But of course, there is clients who need this maybe more hard content because of industries they operate or goals or brand. But I would say it depends. Yeah. But if I can just add, as my colleagues said, that they are preparing and how important it is to prepare content for each platform. Yeah, this is actually what we see by our research as well, that especially for younger audience and audience who consume our local media content through different platforms to build a media brand trust and brand equity is crucial to have the strong brand on platforms. And it's again different challenges for media because it's not only branding with logo and so on, but this is also one thing that we see that it's crucial, and have this Delphi brand association on Facebook, for example, when content is shared like several hundred of times, hopefully, right? How to keep it, this original source association with Delphi brand, for example. But yeah.
Okay, I wanted to ask you also about the big platforms, and I mean the advertising money is flowing, of course, to that. A lot of it is flowing to them. What's your estimate? How much money goes to the tech giants? Let's say in Latvia's market.
It will be estimate because nobody knows exactly, but it will be like the same volume as we have on the online digital media. It's estimate like if we have how much we have 20% from all advertising market, and we had last year 92 million. So 20 is going to local, and it's estimate maybe more is going to global ones, because there are so many companies who directly buy advertising to platforms. Latvian export, smaller, bigger, medium e-com companies that we cannot give precisely, but I think it's double, something like that. Yeah, maybe.
I think latest International Advertising Bureau for 2024 reported 130 million from Latvia goes.
130.
Yeah, to global.
It's 5 times.
Some 55% of whole advertising market goes global.
Yeah.
So how do you compete with that?
That's majority in general.
Yeah. Yeah, but then how to compete with that? How to get a pie of that?
I think it's about consolidation, and maybe what we see in UK, the commercial TV players make joint one video on demand platform. I don't have info how well it works, but it's really they understand that traffic is the future survival, and in global algorithms, really we can try our best, but global algorithms just make on social media doesn't make you really your effort sometimes viewable, don't reach the people, and I think that way cross cooperation across media. And then if maybe it's of course even more topic, but looking ahead on a public broadcaster role in the future. Now, of course, we hope with the new management in Latvia, it will become more maybe cost efficient, and in the same time, of course, the growing budget makes our life harder. But who knows, maybe in a state strategy it should be defined that public broadcaster is not just one of the flowers in the garden between commercial flowers, but maybe like a new head of all this garden who partners with the commercial media just to keep against global, because otherwise I think against global it's not easy will be to survive. If the market doesn't get united on a content local joint effort traffic.
One of the ideas that was also in the report by one of the media executive was that local media could cooperate on digital subscriptions, like providing bundle, like let's say as well, Go3 or TET with like also buy together with Netflix, but then let's say, I don't know, Delfin TV or something like, or Delfin 15 minutes. So is that something that you see possible in the future?
I don't know. We will see, but in general, like everything is possible. And as I told previously, that I think that yes, we have changed our mindset that we don't have to compete with each other because we are like eaten by already by bigger giants, tech giants, and we have to think like locally. We produce local content. We are small local markets, and we have to find solutions how to survive, how to be profitable, of course, healthy financially, and journalistic-wise. And we have to search for solutions, of course. And I think that all ideas should be welcome.
And I think one more, maybe Linda can add on, but data about users. Because when we get traffic, if we cooperate between commercial players or even broaden market, you get traffic inventories, that's fine. But what performance marketing demands, it demands to know what user wants. And there should be data gathered. If each will make this data, customer data platforms, it's very expensive for a small market. So if maybe subscription goes its own way for each, but there is some registration way cooperated in the market, then maybe there is a good customer data platform which can be already a good tool for media agencies to service campaigns with more efficient return.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. It would benefit a lot. Yeah, because data is, yeah, that's what.
But how would you say, like, let's say the data, is it good quality, a lot of quality that you can get from the local players?
The local?
Yeah.
We can get that, of course, but the one of challenges is to let's say, to have this attribution, or also to measure, for example, the reach across platforms we have fragmented. So the cooperation or collaboration between local players, I don't know, is it possible or not, on that front would benefit a lot. Yeah. And on Baltic level, between media as well, that's what we have in demand from clients as well, to have, for example, this Baltic, Baltic, Latvian, Lithuanian, and Estonian Delphi, for example, ability to plan, let's say, as one, right? But I'm not saying that it's like every day and so on, but it can also benefit.
Okay. And then to close off, I wanted to ask you the last question, each of you. So what do you think, in your opinion, each of you, what is the superpower of the Baltic media? Who wants to start? Rasa?
I think that people in general, we all are superpower because we are very curious. We want to do more. Look at our history, like all three Baltic countries. We managed to survive and managed to find the ways in very difficult situations. And I think that's like for sure we're gonna find solutions. We're gonna find ways to our audience hearts and heads. And we are really on track, and we are following all trends. Like I was in the conference in Germany 2 weeks ago. Like we were discussing very similar issues, and I see that like the Baltics, we are very on track. What is happening with digital subscription, with digital media digitalization, and video on demand things. And I think that we're gonna find solutions. The problem is that the world is changing very fastly.
Some of us might die.
Yes, possible. But as media, as countries, we're gonna survive and gonna find solutions.
I will just add on. Yeah, I think the resilience and if you look back, and this people mindset, and let's see, and we can know how many of us are in media so many years, right? We can do different things, of course, in our life as well, but we want to be with here with local media or Baltic level. So this resilience, this ability, and still it's showed by data, to have our people or audience trust, and it's proven, it's trusted by people in Latvia and Estonia and Lithuania as well. And usage, not always, if you use platforms a lot, it's not always correlates with trust, credibility, and we can go on, brand love and so on. So I would say resilience and trust.
Thank you. Kaspar?
I think key issue will be language. I think without local language, I'm not sure whether we're able to compete in English language. Consolidation, because I think all the whatever on cost or content you need to get outside of your media bubble, your own media, and unfortunately algorithms make bubbles more and more. So somehow break the bubbles with consolidation.
Okay, thank you. That's it from my side. Are there any questions from the audience? Or not so much? I think we can finish. Thank you so much for joining this and for your insights. Thank you.